सलाम ख़वातीन हज़रात, वेलकम बैक टू अदर एपिसोड ऑफ थॉट बिहाइंड थिंग्स। आज हमारे साथ मौजूद है एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान। इनको बुलाने का मकसद ये है कि जो आप लोगों को सबसे ज़्यादा चीज़ पसंद है ना, कि जी इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस बताएं, मुझे थोड़ा सा बताएं कि जी दुनिया भर में क्या हो रहा है, स्पेशली पाक अफगान में क्या हो रहा है, यूएस के साथ पाकिस्तान का क्या हो रहा है। रिसेंटली प्राइम मिनिस्टर का एक क्लिप भी बड़ा वायरल हुआ था HBO के साथ इंटरव्यू के ऊपर, उसके ऊपर बड़े तबसरे भी हुए सोशल मीडिया के ऊपर। एंड टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, मैं जब देखता हूँ आई फॉलो करंट अफेयर्स अ लॉट, एंड जो भी हो रहा होता है, लेकिन आई ऑब्वियसली कांट नो एवरीथिंग, एंड देयरफॉर I feel like experts को बुलाना चाहिए, and for that we have a very very special guest with us today, and I'm very very glad कि he accepted our invitation as well. Hussain Nadeem, Dr. Hussain Nadeem, thank you so much for being part of the show.
My pleasure to be here, Muzammil. Very kind.
थोड़ा सा मैं अगर आप लोगों को बैकग्राउंड बता दूं, Dr. Hussain Nadeem is a PhD in political science from University of Sydney. He also did his masters from University of Cambridge, and his bachelor's from University of George Washington University. All in political science?
Sub IR and political science.
Oh,
Never studied anything else.
Achha, very cool. He's also been named Forbes 30 under 30 in 2016. He got a ton of awards, doing throughout his career as well. Pakistan आने के बाद he joined the Planning Commission as a special assistant to the minister उस वक्त SN Iqbal साहब थे, planning minister, I believe. And now he's the executive director of IPRI, which is the Islamabad Policy Research Institute. Sir, इतना बड़ा पोर्टफोलियो, मुझे तो लग रहा है मैं पता नहीं मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ ये इंटरव्यू, बट थैंक यू सो मच कि आपने हमें शर्फ बख्शा. I'm going to start off the conversation with IPRI particularly. Someone like you, you're 33 years old, you have a very powerful career behind you. आपने think tank क्यों ज्वाइन किया, एंड हाउ, लाइक व्हाट वाज द थॉट बिहाइंड दैट? बिकॉज दैट्स समथिंग जनरली पाकिस्तान में हम सोचते हैं, लाइक 50+ year olds, bureaucrat retired or something of that sort. So what was going on behind that?
Yeah, Muzammil, thank you for inviting me over here, and assalamu alaikum to all the audiences that was watching. Think tank is something very important nowadays. We live in a 21st century in the digital era where if you have to classify, अगर मैं इसको कहूँ ना कि हम किस एरा से गुजरे, जिस तरह से आपको याद है कि इंडस्ट्रियल एज थी, एक एग्रीकल्चर एज आई, आपकी पूरी ब्रॉन्ज एज आई, वी आर गोइंग थ्रू आइडियाज़ एज, एंड एनी platform that is now producing ideas, that is investing in ideas, I think that is the place where the reforms, where the change will happen. So mere nazeek think tanks are increasingly becoming more and more important as we become more sophisticated in our intellect and science and tech, because those are the ideas producing machines.
Right.
पाकिस्तान के अंदर think tanks का culture हमेशा से रहा है, but बहुत ज़्यादा securitized, बहुत ज़्यादा politics के side के ऊपर. But अब हम चाह रहे थे कि IPRI के थ्रू जो हमारा इंटरेस्ट था वो ये था कि हम थिंक टैंक को एक 21st सेंचुरी के अंदर लेके जाएं, एक पाकिस्तानी थिंक टैंक को, विच इज़ वाई आई वाज इंटरेस्टेड इन जॉइनिंग थिंक टैंक. और इससे पहले भी मैंने यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ पीस USIP में कुछ अर्सा काम किया था, एंड उससे पहले विल्सन सेंटर में भी काम किया था. सो आई हैड एन एक्सपीरियंस वर्किंग.
वेरी कूल. IPRI कितने से हाउ लॉन्ग हैज
IPRI was established in 1999 by Mushahid Hussain साहब, and then it was under the General Musharraf's Chief Executive Office directly, and उसके बाद जो है ये थ्रू आउट आपका प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफिस के अंदर है. राइट नाउ IPRI is under the National Security Advisor, Dr. Moeed Yusuf Saab.
Acha, right. So it's essentially a subsection of the federal government.
It's essentially the subsection of the, but we also maintain our autonomy, because the whole idea is that we're part of the system, but we're also not part of the system, so that we can think outside of the system, outside of the box, and provide essentially two things. One, very specific actionable policy input to the government, and to help the government to essentially project its narratives globally, which is very important to us.
Right, makes sense. थोड़ा सा मैं अगर for the viewer explain कर सकूँ कि think tank का essentially काम, correct me if I'm wrong, essentially काम ये है कि your politicians, your bureaucrats वो shift भी होते हैं, politicians जो हैं वो जाहिर है कि vote in vote out होते हैं.
Absolutely.
The think tank essentially is your academics, पढ़े लिखे जो वो लोग जो कि रिसर्च में होते हैं, और वो जाके तमाम साइट्स को देख कर एक एजुकेटेड पॉलिसी डायरेक्शन बना रहे होते हैं.
So if I agree 100% on that, it is essentially the powerhouse and institutional memory of the state. So think tanks keep that memory of the state, because governments come and go, state actors come and go, but the think tanks is that sort of house where the memory is stored. So the more powerful think tanks, as I say, American superpower. The reason why America is a superpower is because it has one of the best think tanks in the world. And same is the thing with with UK as well, that when it reached its zenith of global power, it was backed by very strong think tanks like RUSI, and then with the universities like Oxford and Cambridge. So IPRI essentially is also planned out in that way, where it can be that powerhouse and institutional memory for the national security establishment.
Right, makes a lot of sense. Ever since you've joined, and again, I'll sort of pivot back to the original, okay, a 33-year-old joining IPRI, joining a essentially a government institution. आपने जब इसको join किया तो how do you sort of change through the entire thing? Because I know for a fact I've been there. I joined for a couple of months and it was not my cup of tea.
Absolutely.
How did you manage to maneuver through it?
Yeah.
And B, like, did you reform it, once you were there?
Yeah, this is a very interesting and important question, and I remember your brief stint over there at BMW as well. Yeah, when I actually finished my studies abroad, Cambridge से जब मैं graduate हो रहा था, तो I didn't want to do anything else. My only interest was to work in the public sector. For personal reasons and all, I wanted to come back to Pakistan, and I thought that अगर पाकिस्तान आना ही है तो फिर कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में कोक तो नहीं बेचनी ना पानी बेचना है.
Right.
Want to do something, it has to be for the people. So I decided to join the government back in then as well with Planning Commission, and thanks to Ehsan Iqbal sahab who gave me the opportunity for that and mentored me to be able to actually see the very delicate processes of the government. Think tank का क्यों join किया, think tank का interest क्या था? I think part of this also stems from the fact that where does change come from? I am of personal belief that change can only come through ideas, and ideas that are now relevant for the 21st century. There is no better place than the think tank to do that. Public sector क्यों important है आपका? Because I mean, there is one thing to stay outside of the system, become an activist. I appreciate the activists and all. Their level of influence is maybe 20%, 30%.
Right.
You're an academic at a university, maybe your influence is 30, 40, 20%, whatever it is. But when you're part of the system, a system that puts you through the grind, the system that wants you to be patient, the system, it's a very big machine. But you know, within that big machine, government का जो true beauty of working in the government क्या है आपकी, कि very small change in the government has a drastic impact overall. Which is why I think that working in the think tank and being part of the system is very, very important. And the change can only come if more and more younger people give up their own. I mean, government doesn't pay you well. Government is very frustrating. But within that frustration and within that, you're able to maneuver certain things, and very little change that you can bring, uska bahut bada aapka advantage ho jata hai public. When I've seen many of the projects that we did at the Planning Commission, I did a lot of projects for the youth, YDF program, internship programs and all of that. I do really feel that can really impact the public. And agar aapka interest public service ke andar hai, there is no better way.
Makes a lot of sense. Within EPRI, आपने reforms introduce कराए?
Absolutely. और my one big interest when I was on the interview में जब मेरे इस चीज़ के लिए हो रहा था, I talked to a now National Security Advisor and there were other officials over there. I said one thing to them. I said that this can continue to go on for the next 20 years the way it is going on. It will not get anywhere at all. But if you give me a chance and autonomy, I would like to overturn this organization. Majorly disruption करेंगे हम. उसके लिए हमने policy devise की थी when I was hired, and I was very fortunate that they decided to hire somebody at the young age. Usually this position goes to retired senior officials and generals. तो इंटरेस्ट ये था कि हम तीन चीज़ें करें वहाँ पे. सो वी adopted a 3D policy which I call it's the datafication, digitalization and disruption. One of the first things I did in the disruption part was change the HR. Muzammil, I have a very, very firm belief on this part. If you want to change an organization, if you want to change an institute, if you want to change a country, change its HR. You bring in the right people, you bring in the younger lot, you bring in the diverse set of people, and you see it takes only moments before the change comes. And so this is my personal belief that happened, that I witnessed at the Planning Commission, then I witnessed at the Nerve Center and Indus News, and I also witnessed over here at the Planning Commission. At EPRI. So we undertook major reforms on the HR, brought in the young individuals and young kids. Second thing we did was datafication.
Right.
We were even datafication, I'm not saying just on the research part, but for instance, what change we want at EPRI? How do we undertake strategic reforms? Right. Strategic reforms करने के लिए आपको strategic data चाहिए. So you have to look at what all you have done so far. So last 20 years की data निकाली, process किया, looked at comparative data of other think tanks कि बाकी think tanks क्या करते हैं, क्या चलता है, क्या नहीं चलता है. And we realized one thing, कि 40 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages reports don't work anymore.
Yeah.
People are more interested to see the visuals,
infographics
the infographics and all of that. So we undertook data-driven policies to actually change the organization. Then we took the data-driven policies to actually change the research methodologies as well. Then we took the data-driven policies to actually have the impact assessments. So across the start to end, we started bringing in data into the policy making, into the strategic decision making and into our work, so that we are able to do something with the evidence. So एक तो ये काम किया, दूसरी चीज़ तो आपको पता ही है जिसको हमने किया, digitalization.
Right.
We started off with converting press releases into the videos, and we did the infographics, and then we released recently a dashboard which is collecting all the data of the US foreign projects and all. So we introduced that. So उन चीज़ों का हमें एडवांटेज क्या हुआ is something very interesting. For the last 20 years, IPRI has never been ranked in any of the world global think tank ranking. In just 9 months, 74 की ranking के ऊपर we landed in the UPen's की global ranking.
अच्छा
9 months. And you know why I'm saying that right now? Is because it kind of reinforces my faith that even in a messed up situation that we call the government of Pakistan and the system, there is potential to really go big globally. अगर आप reforms undertake कर लें, if you're able to take reforms of, for instance, PIA, and I'm all about the reforms, I'm interested in that. You undertake reforms of PIA, you undertake reforms of PTV, you undertake reforms of major organizations.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way.
Yeah.
No way at all कि आप जो है टॉप लीग में नहीं जाएंगे. And through IPRI is not just a think tank. We've proven as a case study कि इस मुल्क में रहते हुए इसी लोगों के साथ इसी इन्वायरमेंट में ₹1 एक्स्ट्रा खर्च किए बगैर उन्हीं रिसोर्सेज में हम एक इदारे को ओवरटर्न करके टॉप ग्लोबल थिंक टैंक पे लेके जा सकते हैं. और इस वक्त इफ़ यू गो एंड टॉक टू एनीवन इन वाशिंगटन, यू विल सी दैट IPRI हर जगह बज रहा है इस वक्त.
ज़बरदस्त. यंगर की लॉट की आपने बात की, एंड दिस इज समथिंग आई my personal experience was the same, and I feel like there's a lot of sort of resentment कि यार ये बच्चे क्यों हमने 30 साल लगाए हैं इस मुल्क के अंदर, ये सारा का सारा किया है, and on some level ना बंदा gaslight हो जाता है. So as a young guy, when I go and I hit an office or I hit someone जो कि not directly but मैं किसी के बंदे के पास जाता हूँ, मैं जाके कहता हूँ कि यार अच्छा ये चीज़ इस तरह से होनी चाहिए, और वो कॉन्स्टेंटली आपको ये बताता है कि तुम बच्चे हो, तुम्हें नहीं पता, एंड आप क्वेश्चन भी करते हो इस बात को कि यार अंकल अगर आप इतने बड़े थे और आपको सही पता है तो शायद मुल्क सही होता. मे बी माई न्यू आइडिया माइट एक्चुअली वर्क, बट व्हेन एवरीबडी टेल्स यू तो कॉन्स्टेंटली होता है कि यार मे बी एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ होती है, जो कि होती है.
बिल्कुल होती है.
इन योर एक्सपीरियंस जब आपने ये यंगर नौजवान लोग हायर किए, तो वर यू एबल टू जनरेट द रिजल्ट्स दैट यू वांटेड, एंड वर देयर मिस्टेक्स अलोंग द वे?
देखिए, आई एम ऑन वेरी सिंपल ऑन दिस पार्ट. देयर इज नो सेकंड ओपिनियन ऑन दिस इशू. 65% of the country is under the age of 30. Either you give them power and opportunity, or they will take it.
Right.
This is one. The good thing, I mean, I keep saying this thing in the government as well, that I do it yourself. इंस्टेड कि वो माहौल ना पैदा हो जहाँ पे वो फ्रस्ट्रेट होके चीज़ें होके, जो अभी आप देख रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया में, इट्स अ फ्रस्ट्रेशन. इवन द पीपल दैट आर कमिंग आउट इन प्रोटेस्ट, अभी हम ये स्टूडेंट्स के प्रोटेस्ट देख रहे हैं, दिस इज बिकॉज
इट्स अ वेरी लॉजिकल आउटकम ऑफ व्हाटएवर हैज बीन हैपनिंग.
ऑल द फ्रस्ट्रेशन बिकॉज द किड्स don't see how they can actually work within the system, within the government. How do they actually get a job जहाँ पे आपके freshmen ही वो मांग रहे 10 साल का experience. I mean, these issues are very much present over there. So I believe one thing, and I've maintained this belief when I came back from Cambridge and I started working in the Planning Commission, that there is no way that the younger lot that you bring in will not be able to deliver within the government. Planning Commission mein they delivered when I worked over there, Nerve Center mein delivered when I worked over there, and at IPRI they've delivered. Reason is because of one thing. It's not only that you motivate them and you train them. बहुत बार होता है कि मोटिवेट कर देते हैं और ट्रेन कर देते हैं, बट उसके बाद माइक्रो मैनेज करना शुरू कर देते हैं.
राइट.
यू मोटिवेट, यू ट्रेन, एंड देन यू गिव देम ऑटोनॉमी.
Right, you empower them as well.
And empowerment to actually let them fail a few times. They fail, they rise up, they fail again, they rise up. But if you're not going to train the next generation of political scientists, the leaders, the policy makers and all, which you're not, आपका नतीजा क्या होगा? यू कंटिन्यू टू ब्लेम के यार बच्चे तो कुछ करते ही नहीं है. एंड दिस होल आइडिया कि जी 20 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है, ये मिथ हो चुकी हुई है आपकी. The current CEOs in the world and all of that are not the guys who had like 50 years of experiences. Those are those kids that went to their garage, made an app and became billionaires. 100%. So वो तो आपकी change हो चुकी है. And I think there is also fundamental change on the tech side as well.
Right.
देखिए, आपके आज से 10 साल पहले का जो ग्रेजुएट था और अब जो ग्रेजुएट है, टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हो चुकी है 10 साल में. अगले 5 साल में जो ग्रेजुएट होके निकलेगा, they will have the new software.
100%.
वो हमें नहीं आते होंगे. So unless and until we don't give them an opportunity to be part of the systems in the government, आपकी गवर्नमेंट तो फिर भी ब्रिटिश एरा के हिसाब से ही चलती आ रही है.
टेक्नोलॉजी का आपने बात की, particularly G5 IO. What does that stand for?
G5 Internet Observatory.
That was something very very fun. मैंने वो देखा ना, ठीक है, मेरा डिजिटल मीडिया से ताल्लुक है, मैंने कहा यार ये पॉलिसी मेकिंग के अंदर ये कैसे होना शुरू हो गया पाकिस्तान में. मैंने ट्वीट भी किया था उसके ऊपर. Tell me a little bit about that. And also a little bit about because I know that you guys, at least from what I gather from the tweets, you guys have been actively, वर्किंग ऑन इंफॉर्मेशनल वॉरफेयर एंड किस तरीके से दुनिया में, क्योंकि लोगों को लगता है कि ये चीज़ एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती ना. आई लाइक टू अंडरस्टैंड लिटिल बिट अबाउट कि ये कितनी रियल है. इज दैट अ रियल थ्रेट टू अस इन आवर सोसाइटीज?
So G5IO is something which comes from a very interesting background. Part of the reason is because when we undertook reforms at IPRI, so the reforms were essentially not cutting edge. Let me be very honest with you. ये वो चीज़ें थी जो बाहर के मुल्क में ऑलरेडी हो चुकी हुई थी. सो हम तो कैचिंग अप कर रहे थे. सो आई यूज टू टेल माई टीम कि यार ये रिफॉर्म्स के ऊपर इतना वो खुश ना हो, ये तो वो चीज़ें जो हम कैचअप कर रहे हैं. G5IO वो चीज़ थी जो कि एक्चुअली कटिंग एज है.
Right.
बिकॉज अभी तक दुनिया में स्टैनफोर्ड इंटरनेट ऑब्जर्वेटरी है, ऑक्सफोर्ड इंटरनेट इंस्टीट्यूट है, अटलांटिक काउंसिल की DFR लैब है, और उसके बाद G5IO IPRI का है.
अच्छा, so like top of the food chain and then now at IPRI.
So now हमने ये क्या किया था कि we're not just gonna, like I initially said, the vision was never कि यार हमने पाकिस्तान का नंबर 1 थिंक टैंक बनना है. यार वो तो आप 6 महीने में भी बन सकते हो. there is not a big deal. The vision was how do we become an institute from Pakistan that goes and plays ball at the highest forum. And I have no second opinions on that. No, मुझे कोई उसमें issue नहीं है. We can take an institution from here and take it to as far as top 10 think tanks in the world, which IPRI inshallah will become. G5IO is going to be our major move on that, because innovation is the only thing that can help us drive the change.
Right.
हमने क्या किया, वी अंडरस्टूड वन थिंग कि आपकी दुनिया की रिसर्च जो है ना, वो अभी आपकी चल रही ट्रेडिशनल लेवल के ऊपर. एथनोग्राफी कर ली आपने, क्वालिटेटिव कर ली, चलिए क्वांटिटेटिव कर ली. देयर इज़ अ होल एरे ऑफ अ न्यू वर्ल्ड विच वी कॉल डिजिटल एंड डेटा. नोबडी इज़ लुकिंग एट पाकिस्तान में कि जो डेटा आपकी और डिजिटल के ऊपर रिसर्च चल रही है, हाउ दैट इज़ शेपिंग द सोसाइटी. TikTok, and I'll give you one small example. US एड के, डिफिड के, पाकिस्तान गवर्नमेंट के 50 साल के आप प्रोजेक्ट्स उठा लें टू ब्रिंग एंड चेंज रूरल इकोनॉमी, and you take TikTok,
and it just changed everything.
changing rural economy, society, good or bad, that's separate.
100%.
The way it is changing, आपकी दुनिया में कोई चीज़ ऐसे नहीं किया है. So my point was that who's studying all of that?
Yeah.
Are we studying कि TikTok के क्या impact आने हैं पाकिस्तान पे अगले 20 साल
सर, ये आपने बड़ी ज़बरदस्त बात बोली. बीइंग इन इस्लामाबाद, आप डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर से आपका बड़ा जाहिर है कि बंदा मुंसलिक रहता है. बीइंग अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर, पीपल रीच आउट. सो मेनी टाइम्स आई हैव बीन इनवाइटेड टू दीस सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक फोकस ग्रुप डिस्कशंस एंड वो सारा का सारा कि यार हमें बताएं कि हम किस तरह से गाँव में रीच आउट करें. और आखिर में मैं देखता हूँ कैंपेन पूरी डिज़ाइन होती है डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस पे हो गई या फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन पे हो गई, और उसमें F6 से लेकर ना F10 तक बैनर लग जाते हैं. मैं कहता हूँ यार यहाँ पर हर बंदा जो है वो फाइनेंशियली इंक्लूडेड है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता था मेथडोलॉजी कि या आप एक डेटा ड्रिवन तरीके से आप लोगों तक रीच आउट कर सकें. टिकटॉक ने हर, जैसे कहते हैं ना, एट द ग्रास रूट नोड जाके कनेक्ट कर दिया. एंड द पोटेंशियल इज ऑब्वियसली, आप एक पॉइंट के ऊपर उसको आप 10 बातें कर सकते हैं कि ओ हो उधर अजीब चीज़ें आ रही हैं, ये आ रही हैं, वो आ रही हैं. बट ऑल्टरनेटिवली अगर आप उसको एज अ यूटिलिटी लें, एज अ वो लें कि इससे क्या हम कर सकते हैं, तो इट्स एब्सोल्युटली क्रेजी.
TikTok has essentially done what? It has connected your rural with the global.
Yeah.
And now that monetization kicks into TikTok, जहाँ पे आपका एक फार्मर जो है महीने की कमा रहा था 20-25 हज़ार रुपया, उसका बेटा जो है वो 5-6 लाख रुपया कमाएगा मोनेटाइजेशन के बाद, बिकॉज ऑफ एन एंटरटेनिंग कंटेंट. सो द रीजन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट इज़ दैट इनिशियली जो ये पॉइंट था वो ये था कि the impact of social media, the impact of digital, how that is changing the realities, changing the society, changing the governance, वो एक पूरा एरिया है जो कि मिसिंग था स्टडी से, पॉलिसी की. IPRI took an active initiative on that. We set up the G5 Internet Observatory.
Right.
और पर्पस हमारा ये है कि we want to study how internet, how digital media is changing your policy, the new challenges, the new opportunities, how it is exacerbating the hate crime, how is it exacerbating the violence, how is it the fake news is affecting the local communities. वो जो चीज़ें स्टडी की थी ना पूरी डोमेन, जो अभी सिर्फ स्टैनफोर्ड का आ रहा है, ऑक्सफोर्ड इंटरनेट का, वो पाकिस्तान में अल्लाह का शुक्र है, एंड इंडिया में भी बाय द वे देयर इज़ नॉट अ सिंगल वन. सो वी टुक ओनरशिप ऑफ दैट, वी जंप्ड ऑन दैट, एंड हमने पूरी एक 7-8 बंदों की टीम डिप्लॉय की है, वेरी जिनमें से मोस्टली डेटा साइंटिस्ट एंड सम सोशल साइंटिस्ट एंड ऑल, बिहेवियरल साइंटिस्ट भी हमने हायर किए. उसका पर्पस स्पेसिफिकली ये है कि are we going to be part of the global debate or not? So using cutting edge data tools and being able to crunch all the tweets and Facebook posts and all of that, हम क्या कह रहे हैं that we are not only fighting hate, we're not only fighting prejudice, and biased, but we're also helping the policy makers to make right decisions on social media.
And future-proof decisions, essentially.
जिसके अंदर हम एक्चुअली पार्ट ऑफ द ग्लोबल डिबेट बने. सो हमने कुछ सेमिनार्स करवाए हैं विद जॉइंट विद अटलांटिक काउंसिल, एंड इंशाल्लाह हमारी प्लान तो ये है कि हम स्टैनफोर्ड के साथ भी और अदर्स के साथ भी हम लोग पार्टनरशिप करेंगे इसके ऊपर, विच विल बी आर गेटवे टूवर्ड्स द बीइंग पार्ट ऑफ द ग्लोबल डिबेट वेयर वी नीड टू बी.
ज़बरदस्त, वेरी वेरी एक्साइटिंग. थोड़ा सा मैं आता हूँ टुवर्ड्स what EPRI inherently does, right? And the reason why I asked this is because I saw this clip, and I think all of Pakistan saw that clip of the Prime Minister, with the जो Axios वाला इंटरव्यू था, HBO वाला आपने भी देखा होगा. और उसके अगले दिन जो है प्राइम मिनिस्टर का एक पूरा का पूरा ओपिनियन पीस भी आया ऑन वॉशिंगटन पोस्ट, एंड देयर इज अ लॉट हैपनिंग बट a lot of people in Pakistan aren't talking about it, and that's the Pakistan, sort of the Afghanistan end game, जिसको अगर आप कह लें कि like there's a lot happening there, and the last time a lot happened in Afghanistan, everything changed for us.
Absolutely.
And not just the last time, I mean it happened in the 80s, it happened in 2000, and now वो 20 साल का cycle complete हुआ और फिर से हो रहा है, and we don't realize कि वो कितना impact पड़ेगा. So I'd like to understand, what do you think in the context of Pakistan, जो इस वक्त with the US forces leaving Afghanistan, giving that deadline for September 11th, how does that affect Pakistan?
So Afghanistan is, people call it an end game.
Right.
I just think it's a great game. जिस तरह से पुराने सोवियत एरा में भी इसके बारे में बात की गई थी कि अफगानिस्तान का जो इशू है ना, we need to separate fact from fiction on
Right.
this, because I've never seen any more information war played in any other domain than the Afghanistan war. इतनी लंबी वॉर हो चुकी हुई है, 40+ years, generations have been born, fought and have died within this entire thing, कि अब हम भूल ही गए हैं कि actually why did America even enter?
Right.
Why was Afghanistan in a turmoil? But दो चीज़ें मैं ज़रूर इस बारे में बात करना चाहता हूँ जो I think critical हैं from our perspective. One is कि is Pakistan the reason for the turmoil in Afghanistan? Because हम पे बार बार एक ब्लेम किया जाता है कि ये सारा पाकिस्तान ने किया, डबल गेम पाकिस्तान ने कर दिया.
मुझे बड़ा फैसिनेटिंग लगता है कि लोग पाकिस्तान में बड़े लोग बोलते हैं कि पाकिस्तानियों ने यूं बनाया वो बनाया, इस तरह से किया, डू मोर हम सुनते हुए आ रहे थे. फिर लेकिन सडनली व्हेन द अमेरिकन्स शिफ्ट, तो वो हकानी का न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स पे एडिटोरियल भी आता है, सारी की सारी नैरेटिव बिल्डिंग भी चेंज होना चाहिए थी, लेकिन पाकिस्तानी बुरे थे समहाउ ऑन दैट.
ये सबसे बड़ा अलमिया रहा है, और ये सबसे बड़ी एक, इन माय ओपिनियन इफ़ यू आस्क मी ना, जो आपकी ट्रेजिडी रही है ना, वो आपके ये रही है कि इनएबिलिटी टू आर्टिकुलेट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड इन द लास्ट 40 to 50 years. अगर मैं आपको कहूँ ना, लाइक विद इन 1 minute हाउ टू बेसिकली लुक एट दिस एंड व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड. देखिए, हम पे बार बार कहा जा रहा है बात कि जी डबल गेम कर दी इन्होंने अफगानिस्तान बेड़ा गर्क हो गया. पाकिस्तान इज़ रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द ब्लेम इन अफगानिस्तान. इट्स रिडिकुलस आइडिया, ये हम पे बार बार लगाया जाता है. 70s के अंदर ऑलरेडी अफगानिस्तान 73 में आपकी जब जाहिर शाह की गवर्नमेंट जाती है एंड टेक ओवर होता है आपका, सिविल वॉर हैड स्टार्टेड.
Right.
They were already, one was overthrowing the other one was
With
overthrowing the other.
absolutely zero intervention from Pakistan.
साउथ रेवोल्यूशन के अंदर पाकिस्तान का कोई ताल्लुक ही नहीं था. PDPM की जो मार्क्सिस्ट पार्टी थी, हार्डकोर मार्क्सिस्ट, दे ओवरथ्रू. उन्हीं के अंदर से उन्हीं के लोगों ने नजीबुल्लाह को मारा. उसके बाद करते 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 आपकी वो सिचुएशन आ गई कि सिविल वॉर ऑलरेडी देयर. पाकिस्तान इंटरवीन एट 79 जब आपकी जाके हालात ये थे कि मिलियंस ऑफ रेफ्यूजीज यहाँ पे आ रहे थे. लाइक एनी अदर कंट्री वी हैड टू इंटरवीन. बट more importantly, I think the real thing that has happened in the last 20 years of Pakistan-Afghanistan war, ये डबल गेम वाली बात के ऊपर, and I want to make it very clear, what is actually double game? I'll tell you what double game Pakistan has played. पाकिस्तान की गेम क्या थी from the start to end in Afghanistan war was never to hurt America or never to hurt the Afghan or anyone. Pakistan saw America as, after 9/11, as a bull in a china shop.
Right.
What we tried to do was one thing: save the bull and save the china shop.
Right.
That was all what we've done. Because in America, after 9/11, it was very angry. It was what we did. Our own core foreign policy was essentially to save America from its own wrath that it was going to create. The policy blunders, the aggressive military posturing and all. And we also saved the Afghan people. It was not the Taliban. We did not say कि जी तालिबान बचा लिए. 3 million refugees हमने होस्ट किए थे, वो तालिबान नहीं थे सारे. Political leaders, tribal leaders को वहाँ से बचाया. That because according to the American security establishment, anybody above the age of 16 and with a beard was a Taliban.
Yeah.
Americans' lack of ignorance on the eve of 9/11 is the reason why Pakistan kept telling them, go for a political dialogue, go for a political dialogue. Taliban is ready to give up Al-Qaeda. The Americans said, no, we need to set an example. They went and bombarded. Pakistan has been the truest friend that America could have because Pakistan tried to restrain America, knowing कि यार 10 साल बाद नहीं 8 साल बाद नहीं इनको ख्याल आ जाए कि यार गलती हो गई है अब कोई डील करवा दें यहाँ पे. दैट इज़ व्हाट पाकिस्तान पॉलिसी हैज़ बीन. उस पॉलिसी की बेसिस के ऊपर देखें आप जनरल मुशर्रफ से लेकर इमरान खान तक की हुकूमत तक एक स्टांस रहा है पाकिस्तान का, पॉलिटिकल डायलॉग कर लें, तमीज़ से कर लें. उसके ऊपर हमें क्या कहा गया,
डबल गेम हो रही है.
डबल गेम.
मतलब जो एक्चुअली बेचारा आपको स्टार्ट से बैठ के समझा रहा था ना कि एक्चुअली भाई आप गलत कर रहे हो, ये करो,
और हमें उसको गंदा भी किया, हमें ब्लेम किया गया, थ्रैश किया गया, ह्यूमिलेट किया गया, जिसकी वजह से हमें एफ पैक के कंस्ट्रक्ट में डाल के हमारी इकोनॉमी तबाह हुई. पाकिस्तान हैज़ paid the biggest price and the biggest sacrifice, and it was just for कि हमें कोई strategic depth चाहिए थी. There is no strategic depth in Afghanistan. We have nothing to gain from the economic side or any side from Afghanistan. Our core goal was one, कि when you have an empire, an imperial power or a colonial power that is set about कि हमने invade करना है अफगानिस्तान को, and it has no plan whatsoever. Americans entered with no plan to exit. इनको पता ही नहीं था कि exit क्या. आज तक Americans have no idea what the exit looks like, what the victory looks like. अब आप पाकिस्तान हैं, आप क्या करेंगे? आप यही करेंगे ना कि एज अ फ्रेंड ऑफ द अमेरिका यू विल से कि यार easy, like don't do this, don't do that. Without,
because you know the realities, right? You have the understanding of what's going on there.
More than half of the world student population isn't living in Pakistan. We understand the people. We are the people. Forget about understanding. We are the people. So Pakistan did what? We saved the bull and we saved the China shop from going into complete chaos. I do think that the world was an apology to Pakistan for what is done. And I do still think that Pakistan has played the most critical part in playing the peace dialogue in Afghanistan. चाहे उसके ऊपर इंडियन लॉबीज जो भी कहें, हमारे अपने भी जो भी कहें, पाकिस्तान नेवर वॉज ऑफ एन इंटरेस्ट कि हमने कोई इस तरह की रिजीम अफगानिस्तान में चाहते हैं या हम ये चाहते हैं कि अफगानिस्तान में जाए. इट वॉज ऑलवेज द फैक्ट कि यार दिस कंट्री हैज़ बीन एट वॉर फॉर 40 years. लेट्स ब्रिंग पीस. एंड जो पीस की बात कर रहा है उसको कभी तालिबान खान बना दिया, उसको कभी बता दिया कि ये डबल गेम है. So I think it's very
considering even right now, even though Taliban are actively growing their regions under their control in Afghanistan, government की constant यही positioning आ रही है कि a peaceful Afghanistan includes a government that includes all the stakeholders. It's not going to be one player. So वही वाली बात है. But again, अब जो situation जिस तरह अफगानिस्तान में हम देख रहे हैं, it seems very troubling, to be honest. It seems like they're going to go back to the civil war situation. It seems like again the US left a bit too hurriedly last time. जिस तरह 80s में भी यही हुआ था कि बस ठीक है काम ख़त्म हुआ, निकलो and let them figure it out. And in a war-torn, extremely poverty-stricken land, basic human nature यही है कि they're going to fight over it. What do you think is going to happen? And अगर मैं आपसे पूछूंगा, what's your worst fear and what's the best case scenario?
I think the worst fear is already going on.
Right.
There is no best case scenario in that situation, in my personal opinion. If you read the history of the land, 3,000 years of what this place has been, not Afghanistan, Pakistan alone, the entire region, the empires have come, the empires have gone, there have been changes and all of that. I think this is not the state opinion, this is my personal opinion. There is no such thing as inclusive government in Afghanistan. It cannot be.
Right.
Anybody who has read any history in Afghanistan will know about that. Part of the understanding in the US government right now is also this thing. They've accepted कि inclusive government हो नहीं सकती, और इसका एक बहुत बड़ा reason है. And the reason is not Taliban alone. The reason is that for the last 20 years, there was an elite in Afghanistan of highly racist, bigoted, and crooks that were ruling the Afghanistan government. And they essentially robbed America of its wealth. The funding that was given to them to develop and all, they could have undertaken develop it. They could have basically developed the districts. The reason why districts are falling right now to Taliban is not because Taliban is actually using violence.
Super powerful, yeah.
People are laying down their arms and people are saying that we understand that the current government...
That was very interesting. Like there's no violence happening at all. It's just one after the other. Everybody's just like उनके soldiers कह रहे हैं कि जी आएं और आप कर लें, कोई मसला नहीं है.
Because they understand that the regime that was responsible for democracy development, it did not deliver for 20 years. and it did not want to deliver. All of them took their money to Dubai and then have had that. So there are several reports by USAID and USAIG ki reports and Inspector General ki, where they've stated out openly that how much the American taxpayers' money and the development funding that was earmarked for the poor people of Afghanistan was essentially taken out to Dubai and looted. So I think Afghanistan की जो फेलियर की जहाँ बात होती है ना, जहाँ पे पाकिस्तान को ब्लेम किया जाता है और बार बार ये, the failure actually starts at home. When they were given a chance to develop, the elite that the American was sponsoring was not able to deliver. The reason which is why Taliban is easily taking over ground. So I don't personally think that Afghanistan will have an inclusive government. I don't see a future for Ghani's, Ashraf Ghani or any of these people. Abdullah maybe, because he's changed his stance a lot lately. But I don't see a future for an inclusive government in Afghanistan. But a lot depends on what Taliban is going to be doing.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question as well. Do you think the Taliban have sort of matured over the past 2 decades?
I won't really represent Taliban at any forum because I don't know them. There is no voice of Taliban. I mean, we've seen the 20 years war. We don't even know the Taliban. They're not sitting in any round table and all.
Yeah.
All so far we know about Taliban is that they've committed, that they're not interested. They were never against the women rights or minority right. They were never against that. They're not going to go on a killing spree and all. But they've also indicated on some part that the people who have basically wronged us at the highest level, killed, bloodbath and all of that, they will take the revenge. But here is a problem. Right. Beyond this Taliban is also conglomerate of many groups. So one is the Taliban in Doha, jo ke representatives hai, and another is the Taliban fighter that is fighting in Nangarhar and other provinces.
Yeah.
There is disparity in that, because when the civil war and whatever is going to happen, how much of the...
You think even within the Taliban there's going to be a lot of infighting?
There is a lot of infighting.
Because वही वाली बात है कि वो माले गनीमत जब बट रहा होता है तो फिर...
So right now Taliban is united because they're against the US. Once the US leaves, there will be an inner war. And Pakistan's biggest fear, and my biggest fear, is that we don't want to see an Afghanistan which is split into over 100 different militias. So it is very important that one group emerges, whoever that group is, one conglomerate, Abdullah, I mean, I don't even know who Talibans are, but Haqqanis, the Hikmatyas, whoever it is, they come out and they're able to...
Someone you can talk to and someone you can sort of...
But the current lot that is there, the one that is still not just poisoning the Afghanistan society in hate against Pakistan, but calling for, like, murders in Pakistan, calling for the destabilization of the Pashtun lands, those type of people, the remnants of that era of the 70s, the reason why Afghanistan is there, they have no future in Afghanistan.
You're sure about that?
Let's see, they're right now in the US. So I think, but I do still think that my conversations with the people in the US, it doesn't indicate that those people can have a future. But that's their own problem.
I mean, obviously, it's only an opinion at this point. Okay, so one last thing on the Afghanistan issue. Do you think that the border fence that we've created, do you think that's going to have an impact this time around in terms of the security? Because again, it was a very porous border. I just saw some photos on Twitter the other day, 2,300 kilometers, I mean 5,000 feet ऊपर की पहाड़ियों पे भी लगी हुई है fence, down to Iran, and I believe Iran की side, Iran के border पे भी अब fencing हो रही है. How important was that for Pakistan, and do you think that's going to change?
Again, I'm wearing an academic hat. I'm not representing any state organization. So my opinion is very simple, and I'll come from a political background on that, political science background. Border जो है ना वो आपकी ज़हनी सुकून के लिए होता है.
अच्छा.
ठीक है?
सही है.
And so are the locks in your home. ये ज़हनी सुकून के लिए होती हैं. The actual thing is the reality outside of the borders, the region. हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी important चीज़ ये है, border or no border. आपकी स्टेबिलिटी अफगानिस्तान में अगर है तो आपको बॉर्डर एक बस एयर मार्क हुआ है.
राइट.
अगर आपकी स्टेबिलिटी अफगानिस्तान में ही वो बॉर्डर्स हैं, पोरस हैं, वो इतनी लंबी हैं, वो इट इज़ नॉट वेरी हार्ड फॉर एनीवन टू क्रॉस स्टिल विद द बॉर्डर्स. बट आई डू एग्री द बॉर्डर वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी ऑफ द पीस ऑफ माइंड फॉर पाकिस्तान. हमेशा से ये था ना 47 से आपके ना उधर बॉर्डर का फड्डा चल और इधर भी बॉर्डर का फड्डा चल है. सो आई थिंक दैट गिव्स अस अ पीस ऑफ माइंड फॉर आवर सिक्योरिटी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट एंड द मिलिट्री फोर्सेस. But that is only a peace of mind. Beyond that, what we need to be doing is having very cordial relations with Afghanistan Afghans are our brothers. We've supported them. We're still supporting them.
And we've hosted over 3 million of them, right?
And देखिए अगर अभी भी अफगानिस्तान में हालात ख़राब होते हैं, we are ready to host many more. There will be more people coming in. But I mean, मैं आपको give you a small example. मैं US में था जब US इलेक्शन से 2016 के, and I've worked and lived over there for some time. US is such a, मुझे आज तक समझ नहीं आती इस बात की, अमेरिका एक अमीर तरीन मुल्क है, बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स टू स्पेयर, एंड वो लड़े होते थे उस बात के ऊपर कि जी मैक्सिकन कोई यहाँ से आ गया, कोई रेफ्यूजी हमें लेना पड़ गया, सीरियन वॉर में रेफ्यूजी आ गए, उसके ऊपर पूरी पॉलिटिक्स
100-200-500 बंदा आ रहा है और उसके ऊपर वो रो रहे हैं,
उसके ऊपर वो रो रहे. I used to think यार all these Western liberalism and Western ideas about human rights and ethics and all, and they keep saying us कि जी आप लोग में वो नहीं है. हम यहाँ पे पैदा जब से मैं हूँ तब से हम लोग 3 मिलियन रेफ्यूजीज होस्ट कर रहे हैं विदाउट इवन ब्लिंकिंग. आज तक मैंने कभी किसी को नहीं सुना पाकिस्तान में इसके ऊपर सियासत की हो. कोई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी ने नहीं आज तक सियासत की अफगान रेफ्यूजीज पे. किसी ने आज तक ये नहीं कहा कि यार ये हमारे ऊपर क्यों बैठे हुए हैं, ये क्यों है. इवन द वर्स्ट काइंड ऑफ क्राइसिस, पाकिस्तान में बमबारियाँ हो रही हैं, आपके अफगानिस्तान के साथ हालात ख़राब थे. टू दिस डेट गो आउट एंड आस्क एनीवन इन पाकिस्तान के जी अफगानिस्तान रेफ्यूजीज़ का क्या करें, तो भी लाइक हमारे भाई हैं. सो दैट लेवल ऑफ आई थिंक द जो इमरान खान अभी बात करते हैं ना कल्चर की, आई डू थिंक दैट आवर नेशन हैज़ बीन अ वेरी बिग हार्ट एंड वी आर वेरी प्राउड टू हैव दैट heart as well to be able to host Afghanistan and brother. So the border is just a myth in my opinion. Right. होना चाहिए, but we need to take care of the people on both sides.
Makes a lot of sense. इमरान खान साहब की अपने बात की, उन्हीं के इंटरव्यू के अंदर उन्होंने एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग जो मुझे बड़ी मज़े की चीज़ लगी, उन्होंने बोला कि जो बाइडन डिड नॉट, बड़े स्ट्रिक्टली उन्होंने बोला, उन्होंने कहा कि जी ही डिडंट कॉल मी येट एंड यू नो टाइम होगा तो कॉल कर लेगा. एंड बड़ा जैसे कहते धमकी आमेद के भाई ठीक है कर लेगा यू नो अपने उस पर. वेयर डू यू थिंक दैट वाज कमिंग फ्रॉम, लाइक एंड व्हाई डू यू थिंक देयर हैजंट बीन अ कॉल? आई एम वेरी सरप्राइज्ड बिकॉज यू नो जो बाइडन कमिंग इनटू ऑफिस अनाउंसिंग अफगान जी US forces leaving Afghanistan, you would think the first call he'll make is going to be Pakistan. And you see there, you know, CIA director coming to Pakistan. You hear a lot of these calls coming from elsewhere. But then somehow Joe Biden has just doesn't budge. What's going on there?
This is a very interesting question, and there are some very small nuances involved in this.
Right.
Not a lot of people actually know there is a history to this.
Acha.
Joe Biden is not new to Pakistan. People
Right.
don't realize this thing. Joe Biden has been working on Pakistan for a very long time.
Right.
He was the father of the Kerry-Lugar-Berman Act. KLB जो आपका आया था, जो Biden was the father of that. His name did not come under the Kerry-Lugar because he became the vice president. But it was championed, it was designed, and it was the product of Joe Biden, which actually thought, Joe Biden's opinion was that we needed a strategic partnership with Pakistan. But this is my own personal analysis, since I worked on this and my book is coming on the same subject.
Acha, when's that coming out?
इंशाल्लाह 3-4 महीने में प्लान है.
नाम फाइनल हुआ?
नाम 8 Politics in the War of Narratives, US-Pakistan Relations under
Very
KLB.
nice, very nice.
So it's related to the situation of the US-Pakistan. It will answer the question. I think Joe Biden had a really bad experience in Pakistan during the KLB. Part of it was their own fault because the State Department was not the one running the Pakistan account. It was always the CIA that was running Pakistan case under the Obama administration. So वो जो KLB का experience था ना, वो Joe Biden का इतना अच्छा नहीं रहा. But there is a changing reality. The reason why he's probably not calling right now is because he doesn't want to give too much. He doesn't want to like give Pakistan too much, give it importance. Although Lindsey Graham is definitely saying that, Senator Lindsey Graham is saying कि ये गलत policy है. But I think they do want to keep Pakistan engaged on the military side of things right now. And because there is a very big India angle on the China front, they don't want to piss off India as well by giving that sort of importance. So it is by design and by that they're doing it. But here is a sad part as well, and which I tell to my American friends in different forums that we talk. Pakistan has been nothing but being a friend of the US.
Yeah.
Aapki throughout, when Pakistan was needed for the Middle East policy in the 1950s, Mossadegh government and all, Pakistan was there for you under the CENTO and the Baghdad Pact. When Pakistan was needed for the entire Cold War, I mean, who do you think allowed America to have its final blow on the Cold War?
Yeah.
It was nobody else. It was Pakistan. Yeah. And Pakistan, I think it was General Zia-ul-Haq's time who basically promised the Americans that we will take the revenge of Vietnam War for you. We took the revenge for Vietnam War. We allowed Cold War to end early so that millions of more lives can actually be saved. So Pakistan was at the center of it.
Yeah.
We played the friends part. And obviously we had our own self-interest. We played with that. And then throughout the war on terror, why we kept telling you, yeah, go back, do not control political dialogue and all, we took the humiliation as well.
Yeah.
Even then, we delivered on the Al-Qaeda. No other country in the world dismantled the Al-Qaeda network other than Pakistan. More than 800 Al-Qaeda operators were given by Pakistan through our intelligence. We delivered and all of that. Yet, somehow the Americans think that we have not been friends. I do personally think one thing, that the way US-Pakistan relations have evolved, sooner or later, the US will realize how important Pakistan's role has been in the initial opening of US-China during the Cold War. And even right now, and in this conversation, I will let you know that Pakistan can play such a positive role for the world by bringing two powers, the rising power China and an established power America, to come together for a one shared vision for the future.
Yeah.
Because we speak the two languages. We
Yeah.
have very firm ties with the Chinese, and we understand Americans more than the Americans.
Yeah, and
sometimes
somehow
understand.
we're being pushed into the Chinese camp, even though we've हमारी पूरी state policy, हमारी सारी की सारी language constantly ये कह रही है कि we don't have a singular friend. We're open for business throughout the world. Whoever comes in, and we're ready to talk to them, and we're ready to be friends with them. Somehow, because of their own self-interest, so whatever it is, whatever the thought process is, we're being pushed on one side or the other. वो आपने बड़ी rightfully बोली. US के उस पर एक लास्ट चीज़ मैं आपसे पूछूंगा. और ये again, with the foreign minister this happened, with the prime minister this happened before as well. Osama bin Laden shaheed. And that's a big contention point. And, in Pakistan, obviously, there are different camps in Pakistan. Certain people were like, okay, great, conservative elements हैं, वो जाके उसको सही तरीके से देते हैं, बहुत सारे elements हैं, couldn't care less. And then there is obviously a progressive or a liberal class जो क्या ये कहेगी कि यार नहीं, I'm sorry, but this is a guy who killed a bunch of different people. And एक nuance मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि अगर एक what about में मैं चला जाऊँ, मैं कहूँ कि यार वो Americans ने भी तो उसामा बिन लादेन को एक टाइम के ऊपर हीरो बनाया हुआ था और वो कर दिया, but that's fine. But in Pakistan's context, एक question तो आता है कि why are we refusing to call him out the way that everybody else is?
यार इसका जो है ना, there is no one specific answer to this thing. और उसका reason ये है कि देखिए political realities हैं, कुछ cultural realities हैं आपकी. We live in post-colonial state and societies.
Right.
Where a large populace from a very post-colonial lens see Osama bin Laden as somebody who stood up against the American might.
Right.
So from that angle, for a very large populace, Osama bin Laden is somebody who was having a just war. Now you can't basically convince those people. They come from a particular background where they see him as that. But you also have one large population which also believes that this guy is responsible for Al-Qaeda and all of that. There are two worlds that we live in, like any society.
Right.
Like any society. So there are two different conversations. So if you're a politician, what do? So the population which do see Osama bin Laden as in a particular way, which deny that he was ever responsible for that, which believe that he never waged a war on Pakistan, and whatever his cause was just cause. But the other population believes that no, he was a terrorist. Why should a politician be asked 10 years later to be in that hot seat to answer a question unless you don't want to humiliate him?
Right.
So Shah Saab said in the right way that these are irrelevant questions now.
Yeah.
We're talking about the future, but you're still
Yeah.
stuck on those political dimensions of how this is. For instance, nobody's asking the US generals who fought the Native Americans about whether they believe that they were right or wrong, or the Cecil Rhodes that colonized the whole world, or the East India Company. 200 years later, there are still British people that are supporting Cecil Rhodes. So my point is that why the burden of proof and the burden of evidence and the burden of shame lie on the people of this part of the region, whether you support Osama bin Laden or not. The point is very simple. There are
And I
people who
believe, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off. I believe foreign minister का अगर आप देखें तो he didn't take a side. He didn't say he was one or the other. He explicitly said I refuse to comment.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. Like he has the right to refuse to comment on that.
He has a right to refuse to comment, but then again, by being silent, there were many people who say that why could not they be articulate? I mean, I think it's essentially the two worlds in Pakistan,
Right.
where there is one population that believe in that and the other population sees him differently.
I feel
So
like
for
आप
a
मार
politician,
खाएंगे. आप कुछ भी होंगे तो आप मार
आप
खाएंगे.
इसमें बच नहीं सकते. So for a politician, I think it's a hard question to, but it's a personal question. अगर आप किसी से पूछें, वो different answers उसके ऊपर देंगे.
Makes sense. Hussain, thank you so much for this extremely insightful session. And honestly, the work that you're doing, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the service that you're doing for the nation.
My pleasure to be here.
You know, thank you so much for coming back to Pakistan and being part of it all, and for being part of the show.
I wouldn't be anywhere else, trust me. This is the best country, and people don't realize this thing.
Yeah.
One last point on that part, there is so much immense opportunity that exists in the country, and I have absolute faith. When you ask me right now, I have absolute faith that the situation will be overturned in this country. It's only a matter of time because the situation is right. So definitely for whoever is interested in coming back to Pakistan, this is a right time, and the country will reward you. Definitely will.
Inshallah, Aziz. Dr. Hussain Nadeem, thank you so much for being part of the show. For all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. अगर आपको एपिसोड पसंद आई हो तो YouTube वाले लाइक करेंगे, ज़्यादा एंगेजमेंट बढ़ेगी, ज़्यादा लोगों तक हमारी कॉन्वर्सेशन पहुंचेगी। इसी के साथ साथ अपने दोस्तों यारों के साथ जरूर शेयर करिएगा ये एपिसोड। ऑडियो प्लेटफॉर्म्स वाले सब्सक्राइब का बटन दबाएंगे, आने वाले एपिसोड का आपको नोटिफिकेशन मिलेगी। फेसबुक वाले नीचे दी गई लिंक पे क्लिक कर सकते हैं, TBD कम्युनिटी ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं, जहाँ पर हम आपकी फीडबैक भी लेते हैं, आपकी हम डिफरेंट डिस्कशंस भी करते हैं, आर्टिकल्स भी शेयर करते हैं और गेस्ट रिकमेंडेशंस भी लेते हैं। इसी के साथ साथ दिस वाज सैयद मुज़म्मिल हसन ज़ैदी, यू आर वाचिंग थॉट बिहाइंड थिंग्स। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वाचिंग एंड आई विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन।